What's up, nerds? It's your boy, the OG GM, coming to you live and in charge here on a small island off the coast of Costa Rica. It is I at 9 o'clock in the morning on the 8th day of March 2023, and the fog has rolled back in. Our lovely spring day is gone because I cannot have one single day without having a headache. Thank you, Ventura, for just being the worst place in the world for me to live. It's Wednesday, I think. Maybe? I don't know. Who cares? It's a day. Daylight savings time is ending. Spring forward, fall back. Did you know that? I think that's this weekend. Wow, yay, time travel. Speaking of time travel, segue. It's Wednesday, which means it's time to take a look at all the tabletop role-playing game Kickstarters, crowdfunders, whatever you want to call them, experiments that are coming to an end. And hey, shout out to my friend Kelsey at Arcane Library and the continued success of Shadowdark RPG. But yeah, the following quick starters are coming to an end. Nothing really stands out to me this week as exceptional. Couple spooky ones, which is always interesting because then you got to try and figure out, well, it's March. It's Halloween themed. So when did you start the Kickstart? In October? Or are you trying to jump ahead on the spooky theme? You know, because you always got to think, like, why would you kickstart a specific genre game now to, you know, like spooky games in October makes sense. Winter games in December makes sense. So, you know, spring festival type games in spring makes sense. Certain games released at certain times of the year makes sense. But then when you're like, why are you releasing a spooky game now? It's spring. I don't know. These are just the questions that keep me up at night, and you probably don't care. Let's go. The following quick starters are coming to an end, but you still have a chance to support them at your favorite Kickstarter, crowdfunding, group funding, backlink, blah, 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 blah site. I don't know. There's a lot of them now. I think I'm up to 8. We have Blood of the Con 5e fantasy adventure and campaign from GUI Cube. GUI Cube makes games. I thought they made things like physical product, but I guess they make games now too. Who knows? Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, of course. $90 is the most popular pledge for the PDF and the print book, plus some reward stuff. It looks like it's part of the Mornwood campaign guidebook. High quality product. It's not a really lot of information on what this is, though with a name, and you know, we got these undead here and undead wolves and an undead witch making undead wolves. So I don't know, get kind of spooky-ish. It's supposed to be very GM friendly. Other than that, I don't really have anything about it other than it's a dark and fearful adventure for Mornwood, which I guess is a campaign setting that GUI Cube has made. From Bard House Media, we have Daughters of Frankenstein for Dungeons & Dragons 5th editions. $60 is the most popular pledge. That gets you the hardcover and the PDF and some additional PDFs. It's a dark setting based upon Frankenstein, a steampunky body horror, not Ravenloft, but Ravenloft, Penny Dreadful style setting adventure source book for D&D 5e. Body horror in 5e. Horror in 5e. Yeah, you know, 5e has specifically gone out of its way to let you know you're not going to have horror. You're not going to have scary. You're not going to have body horror. Nothing's going to happen to your character that you don't want it to. So a 5e game based upon Mary Shelley, Jack the Ripper, Resident Evil, and Ravenloft. Could it work? I mean, you know, there are certain things I think the 5e system is perfect for. Horror isn't one of them. But you never know. And speaking of horror, from Bloke Games, we have Bloody Appalachia. Grindhouse Rule Horror Tabletop. This is $19 for the PDF. It's from Bloke Games. Texas Chainsaw Massacre Deliverance type of stuff. You're in the middle of nowhere in some town in the Appalachian Mountains, and there's nothing around you but miles and miles of corn and one house, and you're like, oh, our car just broke down. And then so yes, that's the type of thing. If that's what you're looking for, there you go. From Level Up 5e, we have Keep Your Powder Dry. Firearms for 5e Fantasy. $8 is the most popular pledge for this PDF of this book. It's got 40 different types of guns, feats for people who want to use guns, new stuff for alchemists so they can make gunpowder and guns, all sorts of ways to put guns into the hands of your player characters if you want to take your 5e into the next step of the technology revolution. Of course, there's all that brings up the argument, if I have magic, why do I need guns? And then, of course, the argument then go, well, guns are the great equalizer. See, because now everybody can have a gun, but only certain people know how to use magic. And eventually, the guns would outweigh the magic. And because, that thing, and then it's magic versus gun war, which is always interesting. Or do they find ways to integrate? We have, magic technology, and don't listen to me. This is not, look, we got 1, 2, 3 horror-ish. I mean, guns are kind of scary. I mean, look at this picture. It looks like they're trying to get a little, spookiness going on. And then we have Grim Hollow from Vulcan class from Ghostfire Gaming. $80 is the most popular pledge. It's a D&D 5e setting. $80 gets you the PDF and the hardcovers. And it's basically in one of the ones from the $1 Million Kickstart Club, Ghostfire Gaming. It's a frozen north setting, so Viking adventure, Viking action, sagas of the North, Vikings, Norse mythology, Vikings. Vikings seem to be a thing lately. I'm not sure why, but if you take a look at like Netflix or any streaming service, there's usually like 3 to 5 Viking themed shows or movies. Does Viking mean? I mean, the game is called Grim Hollow, so of course, dark Viking fantasy, because I guess that's a thing people want. So if you're looking for a Viking 5e setting from Grim Hollow, these guys recently have, gotten some good and bad press because of their reaction to the OGL wars. So yeah, and milk that Viking thing while it's still a thing, because how long can we milk the fascination with Vikings? Then we have what looks sort of like a superhero role-playing game. We've got from Luke Stone, Hybrids double feature, RPG and trade paperback. So it's a core rule book and a graphic novel. $35 gets you the PDF and the print versions of the RPG, but you don't get the graphic novel. It's about expands the Hybrids graphic novel to tabletop. Random people are getting superpowers, and then they're getting kidnapped. So you are combating superhuman trafficking. So you're either supers who are combating superhero trafficking, you are normals combating superhuman trafficking, or you are the ones who are being trafficked and you're trying to break your way free. So it's sort of an X-Files meets X-Men meets Taken. Low power superhero world. Supers are just appearing. The government's kidnapping them. It's based upon a graphic novel comic book series. It uses the base +2 system. I'm always down for a superhero role-playing game. So, yeah, sure. From Goodman Games, we have Dungeons and Desians. This is a Dungeon Crawl Classic and Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition source book. $50 is the most popular pledge. Gets you the print and the PDF. You get the PDF of the entire thing, and you get the print version of the DCC thing. So it's 2 separate ones. The PDF gives you both the 5e and the DCC numbers, and you get the print version of just the DCC one. Over 500 new monsters, both for 5e and DCC. Is there a cry for 500 new monsters in D&D and Dungeon Crawl Classics? I guess there is. I don't know if you're looking for 500 new monsters to throw at your players, and, here you go. And we've got this really spooky-looking nightmare here. And we just talked about this yesterday. Subversion from Fragging Uniform Games. Their Kickstarter is coming to an end. $25 gets you the PDF of the book. It's brought to you about the same guy who brought you Sinless and Vault. It's basically Shadowrun, designed by people who worked on Shadowrun, but it's not Shadowrun. It's a different game about fantasy cyberpunk. Because cyberpunk is a thing right now, much like Vikings. And much like the Viking fad, I don't really understand why cyberpunk is a thing right now, because at 2023, cyberpunk is sort of retro now. Sort of more of a nostalgia genre. It's like, oh, remember when we predicted that future in Blade Runner where it was always going to be raining and we could have flying cars and giant glass pyramids venting out fire and noodle shops on every corner? That's not the future we got then. I don't know if the future we're currently living in now is better or worse than the future predicted by Cyberpunk Blade Runner type stuff, but it's definitely, not the future we wanted or asked for or predicted. Definitely a completely different future, 2023, than I think any science fiction writer could have predicted. Though there is some cyberpunky, type stuff out there. So yeah, I don't know. I'm rambling today. Either not enough or too much caffeine. So let's just bring this nonsense to an end. That is it for all the Kickstarter crowdfunders that are coming to an end. Blood of the Con. Vaguely horror themed 5e. Prometheus, Daughters of Frankenstein, 5e body horror. I don't see how that would work, but okay. Slasher cannibal horror from Bloke Games. Fun. Rules for Guns. Never. I would like to see where they go with this, because, creating a scenario where the magic types are fighting the normals who've gotten their hands on guns, that could be interesting. Grim Hollow, yet another Viking fantasy setting. Okay, let's see where this goes. Sort of a superhero role-playing game. I'm always down for a little superhero action, so sure, why not? 500 new monsters. I guess. And Shadowrun that isn't Shadowrun, based upon two other versions of Shadowrun that weren't Shadowrun. This is another one. It'd be interesting to see where this is going, because they've already done 2 others that are like this, 3 others. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see where they go with this and how Shadowrun responds. So that'll be curious. Nothing really stands out to me. Let me know if anything stands out to you. Okay, we got some quotes of all things. Cal saying he'll do anything. Mar Hockman, yeah, that guy. Hey, OGGM, I had my first taste of the OER yesterday. Someone ran a dungeon called Classics. Well, I hope you enjoyed it, Seeker. I love DCC. And then Mar Hockman, but it's Mar Hockman, so get off my land, Mar Hockman. That's it. If any of those crowdfunders sound like something that's interesting to you, check them out. Head on over to your favorite crowdfunding, Kickstarter, Backlit, Group Fund, Itch.io. Oh, I know there's more. Zine Quest, ZR. Two more. I already said Backlit. I can't remember the other 2, but I know there's 8. Yeah, so head on over to your favorite site that does this, thing of try and please finance my project stuff, because there's like 8 different versions one now, right? 8? I feel like 8. I feel like when I did the whole list, it was 8. Question mark. Please like, please share, please subscribe if you appreciate this nonsense. Let me know. If you haven't had a chance to subscribe, please subscribe. Help me hit 1,500 subs. Tell your friends about my channel and how exciting it is. And while you're at it, maybe consider supporting the OGGM adventures. You can do that through visiting my sponsors, checking out my Buy Me a Coffee. But the best way to support the OGGM adventures, of course, is to head on over to Big Geek Emporium and buy my merch, my amazing Minions on a Mission campaign setting. goblin-centric, goofy, brand new monsters every issue, exploring different facets of monsters, and I have not been kicked off of Drive-Thru or Big Geek yet, despite my many attempts to be kicked off. Because, yeah, I'm a troublemaker. That's it for today. Stay safe. I will talk to you later. See ya.